Welcome into another Arkansas football recruiting report. That's Otis Kirk. I'm Jacob Morris. Otis, we might be the dog days this summer, but recruiting doesn't slow down, which means your life doesn't slow down. Another big commitment for Arkansas today in the form of wide receiver Antonio Jordan. The Razorbacks dipping back into that Warren pipeline. A lot of good receivers to come out of there, and I know you think Antonio Jordan, he's going to be the next one to do so.
Yeah, and he's right there with all of them. I'm telling you, this is a kid that nobody knows about. He's listed 6'4", 210 with the recruiting service, but he never took any visits. He doesn't even have X or Twitter. Just not considered no other schools but Arkansas. It's coach's dream if you're the head coach at the University of Arkansas or something. It's a dream, but he is legit 6'6", 230. He can run like a deer. This kid, honestly, Jacob, I promise you, I'm not pumping sunshine on this kid. If he had gone to like Rivals or 24/7 or On 3, some of their scouting deals, events, and they had seen him, a four-star would be his floor. That would be the absolute floor for him. I promise you. And he might have been a 5-star. I'm just telling you, he is got good hands. He doesn't listen. This kid doesn't even have huddle. I mean, he doesn't have huddle video. So nobody knows about it. And Arkansas worked him out. He came up here and went to camp, and they knew about him because, and they always go through, and they listen to Bo Hemry down at Warren, of course. If anybody knows receivers, it's Bo. Bo knows receivers, but he's turned out a lot of them down there. And I'm telling you, Antonio Jordan may be up there with the best of them. Traylon Burks, first-round draft choice, Jarius Wright, Greg Childs, Chris Gregg. I'm going to start naming, I'm going to leave some kids off. Brett Smith went to Tennessee. Was a big time receiver. So but Antonio Jordan has size, speed. He's kind of like some of these other kids we talked about. God was good to that kid because he gave him the size that you just can't coach. And Ronnie Fouts got him a steal there. And he is Florida State had offered Tennessee and maybe another few schools. But like I said, I don't know what they were really offering of. Probably off of Bo's word, and stuff, because there's no video or anything. They may have seen him play, but this is a kid. If you get a chance to go out, I've had people on Hogville on message board and on X telling me about him, and and they told me, said he's bigger than the 6'4", and I said, well, I'll get him when he visits. I'll see, because I had never seen the kid in person. They played at Farmington in the state basketball tournament. I almost went to Farmington and watched him play. I don't know how much basketball he played. I don't know. He may have been the star. He may have sat on the bench. I don't know. But he played out at Farmington in the state basketball tournament. Warren did. And I almost went out there, and I wish I had. But I saw him, and wow. That's what wide receivers are supposed to look like. Ronnie got him a good one there. You combine him with Kamari Williams, and that they'd already got a commitment from, and they're on some others. Kamari's teammate down there, is one that they're on, and they're on some others. So, one out of Texas, one out of Florida. They're on some very good receivers, I tell you. But they're going to have to look far and wide to find somebody better than Antonio. I love this kid. I think he's big time. I tell you, he and Curious Kern and Grayson Wilson and have that, sorry, my bulldog got me. Ontario Robinson. Those are guys that, Ontario Robinson, they're man that play the role and are really good players in the state. This 2025 class has some good talent, but something was smelling. It was my bulldog. I didn't know what was getting on me down there. He might be something. But anyway, sorry about that. But no, this kid is just got a chance to be up there with all the ones we talked about. I think he'll be the next one in line right there with them. And, I wish there was more video so people could go see for themselves and stuff. Jeff, this is one you can take my word for it. But when you say Warren, though, you don't really doubt it, because those wide receivers down there, they've all panned out. Some obviously are better than others. And Chris Gregg actually moved to tight end when he got here. And I've had a question or two this morning from some friends asking me, would he move to tight end? But no, he's going to be a wide receiver. He's big enough to play tight end, but he's going to be a wide receiver, and Arkansas is sitting in good shape there with him. That's a 14th commitment, by the way, Jacob, and second wide receiver, and they'll probably sign 3, maybe 4 out of high school. And I don't know if they could turn down. They've got two. I know the one in Florida and the one in Texas. I don't think they're both Wade and Charles, and then the Johnson kid out of Texas. They're both 4 stars. I don't know if Arkansas could turn down either one if they wanted to come. I know they'd take one. I think they'd probably take both. Not saying they'll get both, but I'm just saying if they wanted to come, it'd be hard to turn them down.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice little run here, receiver recruiting wise for the Razorbacks. Hey, maybe your Bulldog was just as excited about Antonio Jordan as you are, wanted to get him on the
He's
conversation right
pumped
there.
up about that. He must have liked that because he left after that. Got a kiss
Just
on the leg and then he left.
just a unique situation though with Jordan, like you mentioned. It's not often you come across a kid, no social media, not
Yeah,
pumping huddle stuff all the time. It seems like Arkansas got themselves a steal big time. And as long as
yeah.
priorities are in order, it sounds like he's gonna be pretty darn good.
Yeah, he does have Instagram. I will
There you
say
go.
that he has Instagram, but he doesn't have X. Sure, he doesn't have Facebook. But he's a country kid from Warren. He'd probably rather be hunting and fishing than be on, promoting himself. But I hope to be able to get down and see him play this year because it'd be a treat in itself because he's just he's just he looks the part. I'll tell you what, if you're going by looks, he certainly passes the eyeball test. I'll leave it at that.
Should be a lot of fun to look forward to. Let's flip to the
Yeah.
defensive side of the ball now. Trent Sellers, an edge out of Alabama. I know a
Yeah.
lot of interest from Mississippi State. He's been crystal balled there a little bit, so on and so forth. But another edge target, a defensive line target for this staff, one that Arkansas would really like to have.
Yeah. And you know what? I think they may get Trent. I haven't put my story up yet. I've got a story on him, but I'm kind of holding it till later in the day in case he does pull the trigger. And I think he might. I'm not saying he will, but I think he might. Trent's 6'5", 240 edge, can get off there and come after the quarterback really well. He had a lot of tackles, quite a few sacks. Plays down there in Mobile, Alabama, and another one of the Mobile kids. And he loved the visit. This was his first visit. As you said, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, those schools, other schools in Alabama are trying to get a visit from him. But he told me that he was thinking about committing. I mean, he didn't say he would, and he didn't say it'd be today. He just said it's definitely something. That he just feels really comfortable with Deke Adams. Feels really comfortable with Sam Pittman. Just feels comfortable here at Arkansas. Trent is another kid that I get the feeling is not really big into the recruiting deal. I mean, like wanting to take all the visits and commit, recommit, decommit. I don't think he's really into that. I took it that he's kind of, kid that wants to think things out and make his decision and probably live with it, And so I think Arkansas may get him. If they don't, I think they may eventually, but it wouldn't surprise me if today or tomorrow or the next day, sometime this week, they picked up a commitment. If you remember, some of these kids, Madison went home and then committed like 2 or 3 days later. And he had told me he was going to visit Mississippi State this weekend, but he didn't, obviously didn't do it. And he will be on here. Quentin Madison will be on here next Sunday with us on this show here. So he's pretty excited about that. I will say that. But this is another defensive player. They didn't sign very many linemen last year. They got, till they got the portal. They got Danny Saley. They signed Kavion Henderson, Charlie Collins out of high school from the edge. But this year they're targeting more defensive linemen. They got some other offers, visits are out that kids haven't made a decision yet. So we'll see how this lands. But I feel pretty good about Trent Sellers. I really do. But we'll see if that's merited or not. I mean, if that's justified, because it may or may not be. But I did get a good feel. I've done this long enough I can get a fairly decent read on the kid. And I got a good feeling on him. But obviously with the dead period coming up, if he doesn't commit in the next 72 hours, then some of this high on the visit will go away. And then so we'll see where it goes if he doesn't commit in the next, say, 72 hours. But so we'll see how it goes after that. But he did like Arkansas, and it was his first visit, and he said it certainly set the bar for what's if he does take any other visits. This set the bar that And the other linemen said the same thing. Reginald Bond said the same thing. This visit here set the bar for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about Reginald Vaughn, another defensive line target for the Razorbacks. And I was going to talk about it. You mentioned it. We talked last week and the week before about the difference in defensive line recruiting between these past two cycles. And he's another guy, 6'3", 260, where Arkansas would like to have him. Arkansas needs to have those types of
Yeah.
guys, and it would bolster the defensive line depth really well.
Yeah, it was big of him to keep his visit because his teammate, Reginald's a 4-star, but his teammate was a 3-star, London Simmons. He committed to Alabama, but Reginald kept his visit to Arkansas, didn't cancel, and came in, and he is going to take some more visits. He's not on commitment watch or anything, but he is going. At least he told me he is definitely going to take some other visits. So after. Obviously, won't be taking any this summer because the dead period's starting. But in the fall, he will take some more visits before he makes a decision. The Mississippi schools and Alabama and Auburn, some of those schools are involved there. But I think it maybe LSU may be involved too. So, but we'll see. But he Reginald's a kid that can play inside or out, and I think what they'd like for him to do is grow into a defensive tackle. And I think he can. He's probably about 260 right now. And he's got the frame and stuff. He's just 6'3", but he's a muscled up 6'3". And I think he can carry some more. I know he can carry some more. I know he can carry at least 30 more pounds to get up to like 290 or so. And you can play inside it easily at that, 285, 290, 287, somewhere in there. And so I like him. And he was actually at this 7-on-7 they had here about a week and a half ago too. He was just with his team. He came with his team to support them in the 7-on-7. London played some tight end that day, but Reginald didn't play in the 7-on-7. He just wanted to come and support his teammates. That's a pretty good drive. And
yeah. And we talked about it last week, and don't mean to sound like a broken record, but there's a reason when portal season comes around, you would think, right, oh man, the guys that are hard to find are the skill position guys making flashy plays on top 10, but it's always the guys in the trenches. And if you get them on campus and you give yourself a chance to develop them, it puts you in a better position to be successful down the road. Those are the guys that there's a highest premium on for a reason.
Yeah, defensive linemen and offensive tackle, especially kids who like Fernando Cremona can play left tackle. Those are guys that are premium. Quarterbacks are at a premium. I mean, I bet this next cycle in 2026, I bet the least a transfer quarterback goes for, if he's got a lot of talent, at least is $1 million. I think it's going to be $1 million. And I've even heard that some big time defensive linemen that can play tackle and left tackles on offense, they may be getting close to that figure as well, Jacob. So it's getting crazy out there. But if you play certain cover, I'm gonna tell you, cover corner is another position that if you get man and you can press and get man coverage, and you don't have to help coverage. Man, those guys are a premium, and it's so if you play those positions, you're getting ready to be well compensated. So. But so we'll see what happens on all this. But Reginald is somebody to keep an eye on, maybe for the fall. But Sellers is on commitment watch in my book, but Vaughn's not. But I mean, hey, he can get home and change his mind and say, hey, I've had enough of this, I'm going to commit. But that wasn't the plan. And so even Madison, who I told me he was visiting Mississippi State this weekend, but he told me then that was going to be it, that he would decide after that, he would make his decision. So he knew it was getting there, and it was getting close for him. Vaughn didn't sound like he's getting close. I mean, it sounded like to me almost just starting, this being his first visit and stuff. But he did set the bar, and he said it set the bar very high. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, good news for Arkansas, but still a long way to go there. A bit of a different situation with Timothy Merritt, a cornerback out of Alabama. He's already committed to Miami, but he did take an official visit to Arkansas this past weekend. So that's somebody that Arkansas is trying to flip. And you mentioned cover corners, guys that can make a difference. He's somebody Arkansas would really like to have in the secondary.
He's about 6'2", 180, 6'2", 190. He can even move down to free safety if he needs to be. He said Arkansas, Darren Wilson talked to him about both positions, but probably corner is his natural spot. He said, yeah, he's committed to Miami, but he said, obviously he has interest in Arkansas. He wouldn't have taken the visit. He said, I am committed. And he said, I feel, I'm kind of paraphrasing. I've got a story up on him. People can read it on Pig Trail Nation Hogville right now, but kind of paraphrasing. But he just pretty much said, I'm committed out to Miami, but I do like Arkansas, and they have some things to offer, or I wouldn't be here, you know. And he felt like he said Wilson was his dog, you know. He says he's recruiting him. Darren Wilson's his dog, man. He said that is my dog, and he has been since he started recruiting me. So Darren's made a good, just getting a visit from the kid after he committed to Miami on, like, I believe June the 6th, if not June the 9th, I believe June the 6th. He committed earlier this month, and to still get a visit from him, that was great recruiting by Darren Wilson. And so now we'll see how this plays out. But I don't know. I mean, my tendency seems to think he's probably going to go to Miami, but they're committed. But until he decommits, you got to think that's where he's going. But it is interesting that he felt strong enough about Arkansas and Coach Wilson and just the Razorbacks in general to take this visit, you know.
Yeah.
And so we'll see.
Go ahead.
Yeah, now we'll see where it leads to, because you get him on campus, you got a chance, even though he's committed somewhere else, you know. But the fact he did take a visit tells you that the door is not closed. It's a little ajar, you know, it's a little bit open. So it may not be much, but the door is a little open, or he wouldn't have taken this visit. And he made a point to say that. And so we'll see how this plays out. Like I said, if I were betting today, you asked me today, put a gun on me and said, "Where's he going?" I'd say Miami. But fact he did take the visit and stuff, we'll see. But he's got the size. That's what you want back there. 6'2", 190. He can play. He could play. Like I said, Coach Wilson and them talked to him about corner, and they talked to him about free safety. And I feel comfortable saying he could probably play either one with ease. Yep. But he's from down in Mobile, Alabama, 4-star recruit. And Miami got a good one if they get him. Whoever gets him got a good one.
Yeah. It's another broken record topic that we talk about every week, but you mentioned him saying Coach Wilson's his dog. I feel like there's three constants in life now. It's death, taxes, and this Arkansas defensive staff creating awesome relationships with these recruits. It seems like every guy that comes out, whether it's Deke Adams, Coach Woodson, Coach Wilson, whoever it might be, raving reviews from these recruits on these guys.
They are. They're making start. This is all the. Well, no, I'm sorry. I started to say this is all their second year here, but Deke's been here longer than that. The other three, this is their second year here, but they've all made good marks here. They've kind of gotten recruits have got to know them now since they've been here a while, and they feel comfortable with them. But yeah, they compliment them each week, and it's just the fact. I think it's big. Like I said, the fact that Coach Wilson could even get a visit out of this kid. He committed less than a month ago to Miami, and feels good about his commitment. It's not like he already regretting it. I mean, he wanted to see Arkansas, and they did a good job of staying on him and not pressuring him, but talking him into visiting. And you know, if you don't get a visit, you won't get them. If you do get a visit, you may or may not get them, but you won't get a visit. If you don't get a visit, you won't get them. So that puts Arkansas in the game for him. Now, where it leads, don't know. But the fact they did get a visit, that's huge. So we'll see down the road where Timothy Merritt. I met his brother. His mother was with him. Another person too. I think it's another brother. But I'm sorry, it was his cousin too. But just good people, and you know, they very, very polite. And just good people, and very nice people. Sometimes when a kid comes here, Jacob, and they're committed elsewhere, they're kind of guarded. Yeah. You know, they're kind of, I guess they're leery of what to say, you know, because they don't want to make the coach mad where they're committed. But this kid was pretty open. He was very matter of fact. He wasn't like gloating about anything. I mean, he wasn't bragging. He was just very matter of fact, answered my questions, wasn't guarded, wasn't overly answering it, you know, just yes sir, no sir, and answered the question. So really impressed with Timothy, and wherever, like I said, whoever gets him to get a good ball player, and probably a very good person to boot.
Yeah, it should be interesting to watch. I know that's somebody the staff would like to have in the secondary for sure for Arkansas. But hey, wrapping up, let's talk about a couple guys already committed to Arkansas but came in for the visit, and just another weekend full of guys already in the class for Arkansas.
Yeah, Grayson Wilson was here. First time since he went to Conway that he's made a visit to Arkansas that I'm aware of. Evan Noel, the kicker from down in Mississippi, was here. I talked to him briefly this morning about he thought he was going to be Cam Little replacement, you know. But he said he feels good about the guys they've got, and he is ready to come in after they leave and take over, just like was planned. and yeah, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, they had 8 kids on campus this weekend, and so we'll see where this goes. But right now, Arkansas sitting at 14 with the dead period coming up, and feel pretty good. They're going to add to that before it all said and done. But they're getting close to what they signed last year at high school ranks, and stuff. And they've got a lot of offers out. I think they've really improved in recruiting this year, Jacob. I feel like they've really stepped up the recruiting deal and doing a better job with it. Not that they were doing a bad job before. And, Markle Batten was here this weekend, the running back from Atlanta, Texas. He is Jason Peters' cousin. They played here and played in the NFL. Markle and it's his cousin. He's from Atlanta. Jason played at Queen City, but Randy Garner, DeCorey Birmingham were some Atlanta, Texas guys, and he was here. And so, yeah, they had 8 players on campus, but it was a good weekend. It was hot, but it was a good weekend. The kids all said they had fun, and that's about what you can ask for. They had fun and enjoyed themselves. So we'll see where they end up in high school, but they're close to what they signed last year, and so they're getting there. And I like this class. I like what they've done. I like where the team is headed. I mean, I've talked to some people this week that are pretty high on this football team. Wednesday, I talked to some people that are pretty high on, not the recruiting, I'm talking about the football team. They're pretty dang high on this football team. They think my 7-5 prediction may be low. And these are people that are in the know. So they told me Taylor Green has made a difference. They feel like those 3 offensive linemen that came in the portal made a difference. They feel like they hit on basically all the portal kids from last year in this recent class. They really high on this football team. So, and like I said, I know people think I'm pumping such. I'm just passing on what I was told by some pretty good sources. And I mean, it can go either way. Doesn't because they say that doesn't mean it's going to come into existence. But I'm just telling you, some people that are very high on this, they're on the inside, are very high on this football team. I think they got a really good team. I really do. Yeah. And I just think what's going to come down, and this person, the source acknowledged the Oklahoma State game is huge.
That's it. Yeah.
And see, I went on another step. I said, I think the whole month of September is huge.
Yeah.
You go to UAPB at Little Rock, or you play UAPB at Little Rock. You don't go with it. You play UAPB at Little Rock, then you go to Oklahoma State, then you got UAB here, then you go to Auburn, and then you got A&M in Arlington. Now, I think if you come out of that 3-2 or 4-1, I think they're going to be a dangerous team to watch. You don't want to come out of that 2-3. You obviously don't want to come out worse than 2-3, but you don't want to come out of that 2-3. But if you come out 3-2 or 4-1 or 5-0, whatever, you come out of that 3-2 or better, this team could be pretty dangerous because they've got some home games after that. Now they're not patsies; they're not easy games. You got Texas, LSU, Ole Miss. You got some tough teams coming, but I'm just telling you, you're playing at home. But yeah, there's some people very high on this football team, and I like it too. So we'll see we'll see how it plays out. It seems like it's a long time to football season, but it just seemed like the other day it was back spring football here. And now we're talking the end of recruiting in June. So all the camps are finished. And so I had a kid come down the other day, Jacob, 14 years old, out of Missouri, 6'7", 300 pounds. 14 years old, 6'7", 300-pound offensive lineman. He came back the other day. He was at the first camp. And he came back the last camp, the lineman camp Wednesday. He was back. Somebody come and said, "Hey, Otis." And I looked around, there he is. I had no idea he was coming back then. But this kid, he was leaving to go to Memphis after Arkansas. But my God, I'm glad I don't have to feed that kid. I mean, he is 6'7", 300 pounds, 14 years old. His dad told me, so I can't find shoes. I can't keep him in shoes. Can't find them, I mean, he's got skates or he got those big old long deals. You skate, you water skis. He got ski deals for feet, for shoes. I mean, his feet are huge, man. I mean, just big. But yeah, I just so we'll see how he develops. He's obviously at an awkward stage of his life. You being 14 and being that big. He's not fat. He's not fat. He's just at an awkward stage because he's got to grow in. But when he grows into that body, he's another kid that God was good to. You can't coach him to be 6'7". I don't care how good Eric Mateus is. He can't coach a kid to be 6'7". So, Sam Pittman was a great offensive line coach, but he never coached a kid to be 6'7". So, but I just want to throw him out there. I forgot about him, but he's somebody. Brody Brody Lightfoot is his name, and he's from a little town by Springfield, Missouri, up there. And but he's one to we'll have to watch. He's obviously not an offer now or close because he's so awkward. I saw a smaller defensive lineman just run by him over there at the camp the other day. But when it's a bigger kid and he locks onto him, he can hold his own. But he'll grow into his body when he does. But like I said, and you know his dad was tall. He may not be finished growing. This kid may not be finished growing. As scary as that is, he may not be finished. His dad may be having to open a shoe factory to make his shoes for him. He gets even bigger. You know, he's huge, man. He is huge. He really is. Not fat either.
I mean, they're growing them different. I remember we talked about this with Taylon Green. It's a great point in terms of, right, you can be an unbelievable coach, but with Taylon Green, it was you can't coach somebody to be 6'6" and run with the speed that allows you to run a 90-yard touchdown in like he did at Boise State last year. It's the same thing with this kid. You can't coach somebody to be 6'6", 6'7", 300 at 14 years old. That's just not something you can do no matter how good your technique is.
Exactly. And you can't, and that's the kind of kid you want to watch because if he progresses and grows into his coordination and all of his athleticism develops into his size, you know, combines with his size, he's gonna be getting some big time offers eventually, but not now. But like I say, he's in the 9th grade, going into 10th grade, but 14 years old. I mean, but I saw him and I thought he was a senior. You know, when you look at him though in the face a little bit, and I had a story, but there's a story on Big Trail Nation. You'll have to dig to find it, people will, but it's there. It's probably 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. You can find it. You just have to dig through the road, search Brody Lightfoot, but there's a story on him with a picture. If you look at him right in the face, Jacob, you can tell he's kind of young kid, you know, in the face, but just glancing, I was walking by and I see this towering kid over there. And there was a couple of offensive linemen from Arkansas talking to him, and he was towering over them. And I'm talking about Razorbacks. He was towering over them. So, and I thought, man, this kid must be a senior. I go, no, he's a darn freshman or getting ready to be a sophomore, and he's 14 years old. But yeah, there is a story if people want to read more about him. He's an interesting situation there, and he's not ready, right? He's not the finished product right now. He was another one, didn't have social media, didn't have Twitter, he didn't have nothing. And I said, man, Brody, you need to get X, you need to get you a huddle video and put it on there. Because he said, I have no idea how to get recruited. I said, you're doing the right thing by going to camps, but you need to get you a huddle video. It doesn't have to be long, but get your best plays on a huddle video. Get on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Get on social media and follow those coaches and even alert them, you know, that there's my video and stuff. I said, that's how you can get recruited. Because I said, God's already given you an advantage with the size you've got. So, I know he listened to me because he got on there. He followed me that night and he was so excited. You know, hey, Otis, I'm on here now. So, yeah, it was good. But I love trying to help kids like that because they have no idea on the recruiting system, how it works. And, you know, I helped a kid last year out of a small town in Arkansas, and he ended up getting an offer because of that. And so, you know, he told me he got the offer because the coach, you know, he wasn't on social media. His coach found him on there and liked it. They have to have the video and they have to be good enough to get the offer. They're not going to get an offer because I write about it, but I help get their name out there, you know, and then the coaches see it. But they've got to know about you before they can offer you. You know, they don't know about you, they're not going to offer you. But it comes down to the kid's got to be good enough. But Brody will be one of these days.
Should be interesting to watch. When you got size like that, I think everything else will follow pretty quickly. That's going to do it for this week's Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. That's Otis Kirk. I'm Jacob Morris. We'll talk to you next week.